Hi, it's Christmas Eve, and I'm freaking excited. Um, super excited for the weekend. Also, really excited to be here talking with you today. I have a very special guest. Her name is Sheila Salsabila, and she's a doctor from Indonesia, and she's an artist and a storyteller. And I met her in LA a couple weeks ago, and she has a really inspiring story. So I'm really excited for you to meet her and to dive into some expansive, inspirational content as we roll into the holidays and 2023. So let me just see if I can invite her. We've had a super fun week. My friend Abby Feldman came to stay. She was teaching me all about Hanukkah. And we lit some candles, we made some latkes, we watched a movie on Hallmark, which is my first experience of a Hallmark movie. I've had friends who tell me about it and I'm like, oh, now I see the brand. Everything works out in the Hallmark movies. It's very light and romantic. And here she is. View requests. Okay. And I was doing some music production. Oh, she declined. You declined, Sheila. Can you request again? Here we go.
Hi.
Here she is.
How are you?
Hi. I'm good. Nice to
I'm
see
good.
you. How are you doing? You're in
Yes,
Vegas right
still
now,
in
right?
Vegas.
Awesome. Um, so I told everyone a little bit about you. Can you please introduce yourself and let people know
Hi.
who you are and what you're
So,
up to?
my name is Sheila Salsabila. I am from Indonesia. I just moved to the US recently, like not so recent, about a year and a half ago. And in Indonesia, I'm actually a medical doctor. But I've also been doing acting since I was 7 years old, so I've been doing both of them. And then when I moved to LA, I started to I just want to focus on acting. Oh, my camera is like, all right. Yeah, so that's pretty much about me. And I'm also an influencer. Yeah.
Yeah, and okay. So something that I wanted to talk to you about is like Sheila she took a stand in Indonesia in her country, and she shared a video speaking out against you're speaking out against abortion, or for like speaking out for abortion rights. Was
So
that what the video was about?
um in the video, it was quite, yeah, it was quite epic because I was here and I thought like, all right, in America it's legal, so why not talk about it? And then I just posted it, and because most of my followers are Indonesian, so the video got viral, and it's like, oh my God, a doctor speaking about abortion. And especially in Indonesia, abortion is not only like taboo, it's like um yeah, it's illegal, it's like it's against the religion, and like yeah, it's just
Mhm.
like a big no-no. But yeah, I think I still think that it's important to address that topic because whatever that matters here in the US, it matters even more in Indonesia because they're not able to do that. Hmm.
Yeah, and I think it's such an interesting moment that, and I'm in a similar place too, right? Like when you
Hmm.
leave the country where you're from, it kind of gives you the privilege of being able to speak about it, not only being able to just have you have a different perspective, right, on the country, and you also have a certain freedom to be able to speak about things that have gone
Hmm.
on like in your heritage and in your culture. And um you know, without like having direct backlash like from your friends and family or culture like in your day-to-day life. And I know that there was a lot of backlash for you. And I know, you know, especially when you're speaking out against something that's illegal, and, you know, and I know being a medical doctor, like you can't just like be a cowboy. You can't just do it your own way. Like you literally have to be certified by the country that you work in. And so it takes a huge amount of courage to do that. And I think, you know, in these moments when we like, it's the truth, right? And you speak it and you speak your truth, and sometimes you don't know how that's going to land, and you don't know like the impact that that's going to make, and sometimes it can create like a shitstorm for you to have to deal with, which I know was the case for you. And so I just want to like, you know, really honor how much courage it takes to speak out and to share your truth and to do it publicly, and even to just take big leaps, right? And to like go and move to a new country, and like literally I like can't even imagine how hard you work to become a doctor, and then you're like coming over here and starting a career in a new country as an actor, and it takes so much courage to do that. So I would love to hear you speak a little bit on like what has that process been like, because I know it's not always easy, right? And it's like super destabilizing. So what has that process of really been for you, and following your truth, following your desires, and just like taking one step after another, and speaking your truth, and, you know, continuing to move forward despite like the waves that have
Hmm.
kind of happened for you in that
Yeah, so
process?
I've always seen myself as an adventurer, and yeah, I'm definitely like ready to push boundaries like within myself and like within my environment, and I think that's both a strength and I wouldn't say a weakness, but it creates liability to people around me because I'm not able to commit myself in things because I'm like I'm just like into non-conformity. Yeah. So so that helps me in making decisions, definitely even ones. But to say to like to actually like just not just like remove myself from a situation or like being a medical doctor, but it's mostly because of I just follow my body, and like my body is like telling me like, oh my God, like this is not what I'm supposed to do, and like mentally I wasn't able to perform anymore, and like I'm an empath and I feel a lot, and I was supposed to be in a hospital and like absorb the energy of the patients around me, and I tend to have like deeper connections with patients, and they tend to like like be really attached to me in a way that was like I started to question myself like is it right, like oh why is it like I feel like my energy was being drained a lot, and yeah, and then I started to wonder like is it really what I want to do, but then I've always been doing acting too, and that's why I am like so into um like owning my emotions and just like letting the emotions go, and like just feeling whatever I needed to feel. And I wasn't able to do that as a medical doctor because the first time I was like I was working in an ER, and then I had my patient who passed away, and I was like the family was crying, and I was crying with them, and I'm like, what? This is not allowed. And I'm like, so I couldn't use my emotions. I couldn't be my real authentic self, and I couldn't be truthful in doing something that's like against my soul. So I think acting is more like what I have to do. And yeah, the purpose is like to make money in that way, even though it was really hard. And like a lot of times in Indonesia, I just like, I fall back into what's easier because like sometimes like honoring our truth, it takes a lot of courage, and it takes a lot of struggles and effort. And yeah, so I was like, and then I wanted to do acting full time, but then it wasn't making enough money, and so I had to combine my medical field and like my entertainment skills, which what I wanted to do was actually acting. But then I had to be a TV host in a like a medical program for almost 4 years, and that's like kind of like an intersection of both worlds. But I wasn't enjoying myself like the way I wanted to, because being a host, I'm just like talking, and like I have to be neutral, and I cannot feel. and I'm still like trapped in that like doctor character, and I'm just like I can't even like be my authentic self. So that's like a constant struggle of like finding my voice and like navigating my own compass in a way.
And that's such a beautiful example of like, yeah, like the mess of transitions, and that like, you know, people always say like, oh yeah, I'm like afraid of starting over, but I really don't believe we ever start over. And we always bring whatever it is that we've been through with us, even if we're, you know, doing something like on the surface that looks completely differently, but just that ability to be able to take, you know, the strength and the experience and the wisdom and like that we've, you know, developed in like one area of our career or our life or relationships or whatever, and then be like, how can I start to maneuver this in a better direction, in a better feeling direction? And often there is that messy middle where you're like, oh, like, yes, this is a move in the right direction, but it's still not it. But like, you have to go through that to like keep, you know, like figuring out like this new direction and this new world. And yeah, it can be super messy, but it's also really fun, and there's so much progress and there's so much satisfaction that comes just from that growth. I'm so curious, do you know your in your astrological birth chart,
Oh
do you know your
my
north and
God,
south node?
no. Apparently, no.
Really on the spot
Um,
question.
mhm.
But the reason I ask is because, so my partner, he's a doctor, and when I looked at his chart, we were in Indonesia actually, and we went to see the astrologer that Elizabeth Gilbert went to see in Eat, Pray, Love, and he did a reading on both of us, and he was saying to my partner like, oh, like you're an artist, and my partner was like, no, I'm not, I'm a scientist. And then, you know, like really rejected that idea. And then when I looked in his birth chart, the north, I can't remember specifically which one it is now, it's like I don't remember unless I have it in front of me, but the north node is like your career growth or like your career trajectory. And it's like your past life karma and then like the karma that you're stepping into in this life. And his specific one is like past life, you're kind of like working through like medical field, you know, like karma, like you're working in the medical field as like a nurse or a doctor or whatever. And then the transition is to more of like stepping into more of like the creative art. So it sounds like the same
Yeah,
art for you. I'd be
yeah,
really
I should
curious to
check that.
see if it's the same. And he's a Leo rising too, which is, you know, sometimes you attract the partner who,
Mm.
like, I'm a Leo, so he was obviously attracted to like my expression of that energy because he's coming into the expression of
Oh,
that energy
wow.
in this lifetime.
Yeah,
Do
my
you know what your
rising is a
rising sign
Pisces,
is?
and I am definitely like super interested in Pisces people, and I really feel like the emotions and like
Yeah,
the connection. So yeah, I really believe in that.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. That's what it sounds like from what you're sharing. So cool. So, what would you say to anybody who's watching who's like, I'm really feeling this like deep soul calling to step into something new, but like it seems like it doesn't make sense. It's like I don't freaking know like how I'm gonna figure this out. Like, what would
Um,
your nuggets of wisdom for
Find
them
your
be?
community and just like in the beginning, just go for it. Like even if you're alone, and even if you have just one person, because like I attracted my partner when I was in a quarantine in Bali, and then he has a double passport because he was born in America, and because of the quarantine we didn't like really know where to go, and he was like, do you just want to go to America? And I was like, I know that I have to go there like for some reasons, and because I wasn't like allowed to be myself in Indonesia because of the way that my soul tries to like figure out my own way, and like because I also have a free mind, and yeah, I cannot be controlled in that kind of like situation. So just even though there's only just one person who can hold your hand and like get you to that place that you need to be at, for the beginning of your journey, then just do it. And if you can do it alone, also do it. And then in that place, I tried to figure out your community, which was what I was doing by joining MITT, I guess. So yeah, I find like there's a lot of people along the way who will and who is willing to help us along our journey if we are just open to it and like really listen to the signals around us. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's like the overarching message from you. It's like just truly trust, yeah,
Mhm.
like listen to your body, listen to the way that you feel, trust that. And some, you know, and it equally is like trusting the things that you're pulled towards, like
Mhm.
also trusting the things that don't feel good, you know, recognizing like if something doesn't feel good, you get to change it and there's something better for you and there's a different way. So I love this conversation so much. Yeah, I think you're amazing, and I know that you'll have all the success. As I think if anyone can become a medical doctor, you can
I hope
literally do
so.
anything the hell you like. It's one of the hardest jobs. Um, and yeah, I'm so grateful that we met and that you got to come and share your story here. So can you tell people like what you're up to, like where, you know, what you've got going on, where people can find you
Um,
and follow you if they're interested in following
yeah,
what you get up
so
to
I'm
next?
actually I don't post any much contents that I used to, but I think I will, like January. I promise myself I'll start posting January. I've been like, okay, Sarah, please keep me accountable for that. Because I've been always like wanting to post, but then I feel like I've been transforming a lot and I haven't actually owned like this new self. And I feel like just let me like own that first so I can always get back to that so I don't like confuse myself. So yeah, but then you can find me in my Instagram, which is Hila Self. This is my Instagram. And then I also have my YouTube. It's called Hila Salsa Vila. And yeah, that's it.
Awesome. And yeah, like it's you're in like such an amazing adventurous part of your life right now. Like share it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like share the ups and downs. I think it sometimes when we're going through a challenge, it can feel like you're just
Yeah.
constantly coming up against yourself and like what's not working and what's hard. But like you forget when you zoom out how like it's you're embodying freedom, you know, and it's so freaking inspiring to see other people do that and to like lead themselves through that. And I think if the more we get to share these types of stories, like the more it moves us to take risks and you know follow our desires. And I think it's really exciting to
All
follow. So
right, I
please
will. I
create content,
will.
share your story. I did. Thank you so much. Big hugs,
Thank
big love
you.
to you. Enjoy the holidays in Vegas.
Thank you for
And
having
thanks
me.
everyone
Have
for
a
watching.
fun Christmas
Bye.
in New York. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye.